Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Wednesday, August the 17th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Josh Crash Davis, who I have not seen in a couple of days. So, man, your hiatus of a couple of days here has been long. Everybody's asking for you. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm dealing with a little bit of a sinus cold or something. I don't know what it is, but my throat's a little sore, and it's pretty common for this time of year. We used to call it growing up my back to school allergies. So
Gotcha.
yeah. But other than that, doing well. Yeah, I noticed when I was looking at our notes, it had been the Field of Dreams game was the last game we were talking about. So
Wow.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Jeez. Well, you're freshened up and ready to go. I'd shout out to, I know you had Franduel Reyes as your HR pick in chat yesterday. Great call there. And I know you've been hammering PrizePicks. Everybody seems to be hot. You and Boy from Cali and a bunch of our members have been hitting some PrizePicks stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah. And you had a great home run call yourself, Coach, with Robbie Grossman. I mean, I don't think he was probably 2% owned, maybe. Not
Yeah,
even.
it was a little over 2% in one, a little over 1% in the other. And I've never picked a number 9 hitter as my HR or BVP call. So I was so fired up when that went out. I was jumping up and down like I won something. I didn't win anything for it, but it sure felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did have some good cashers yesterday. We had some awesome folks posting some stuff on Twitter with their winners, and we really do appreciate that. That means a lot to us because we give out this information and we follow up some with members, but for listeners, and we don't know what really your outcome was, and unless you post something or tweet it out there. So we would encourage you to do that because we love to shout out folks and celebrate their victories. Who was our member that shot out on Twitter yesterday? Do you remember?
Lena May or Lena
Okay,
Mac,
yes.
or something like that. Yeah.
Right. Mila. So so that was awesome. And we love to see those. The more, the better, for sure. No doubt about it. Interesting card today. So we're going to get after it quickly here because it's just after 11 here on the East Coast. And we have a bunch of games that start at 12:30. So we have a split slate. What we decided we're going to do is we're going to break down the whole slate, all 15 games. We'll talk a little bit more about these early games in the early slate because some people are going to be playing the all-day slate, which is all 15 games. Some will just be playing a 3 or 6 gamer, depending on DraftKings or Fanduel. So we're going to touch on all those games, but then we're going to focus our core of giving you our pay up and BVP calls and all of that stuff on the main slate, which is still really great. It's 9 games starting at 7:05 Eastern on all DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. So we have a lot to cover today. Real quick before we get started, big shout out to JT. Our man Colin Chachoff is even in there for our trivia. We're going to have to come up with a trivia question. We'll always tease him about that. Boy from Cali's in there. We love that. Dominic, some of our regulars, man, you guys mean the world to us, and excited to get everybody going today. So, all right, we have some weather to discuss. First of all, Crash, let's just review that a little bit. I don't see anything that I would say put a circle on this. Let's fade it for now, and maybe it'll come back into play. Right now, all 15 games are in play for me, but I do have a few spots that I'm watching. The first one is in Washington, the Cubs against the Washington. I wanted to call them the every other thing other than their name. But they're in Washington in the past. What we've had is that's the place where there has a tendency to be bizarre postponement. So whenever there's questionable weather, we follow that closer. So there are a few showers and pop-up storms around in DC. So we're keep an eye on that. We'll let you know in Discord. We'll also follow up on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. A couple other spots in New York. possibility of some late rain in that game against Tampa, and that's going to be an important game. But I think we should be good, but we're going to watch it. And the only other one I'll mention for now is Atlanta. This is that time of year when it's hot there and they get these crazy pop-up thunderstorms, but some of them can be a little nasty. So we're going to follow that very close for the slate later tonight. Other than that, I think we're good, Crash. And again, hopefully we don't have to fade anything today.
Yeah, hope not.
That is for sure. Okay, we're going to break down these games. Let's dive into it. If you want to check out more about us, go to dfscoachtalk.com. We have all kinds of memberships there, including our NFL membership that's up. We'll be going into more in-depth about some added things we're going to be doing this week for the NFL, but you can check that out or join that NFL membership. It gets you from today when you sign up all the way through until January of 2023, and it's only $195. And you don't just get our NFL, you get everything that we've got. If you want to just dip your toe in the water, 3 days, $10, can't beat it. All right, 12:35, Philadelphia at Cincinnati. It is 77 degrees, slight breeze blowing left to right in Cincy. 8 is the Vegas total, 4.46 implied for Philly, 3.54 for the Reds. It's Ranger Suarez, the lefty, 8.1K versus Nick Lodolo, 9.6K. Expensive price for Lodolo, but he's looked good in his early starts here for the Reds. Second game, 105, Chicago Cubs, Washington Nationals. It is 81 degrees in Washington. Again, we're going to watch that the next hour here very closely. Only an 11% chance at first pitch, but 27% chance of rain as the game goes on. So I think we're going to be good, but we're going to watch it. No wind to speak of. 8.5 is the Vegas total. 4.74 implied for the Cubs. 3.76 for the Nationals. A couple of struggling pitchers here. Drew Smyly, the lefty, at 7.7K for the Cubs. And Corey Abbott, who's been a gas can a bit, 5.5K for the Nationals. Is that a game that grabs your attention hitting-wise for the early slate?
Yeah, I like the Cubs a little bit there against Abbott. As you mentioned, he's really been struggling, so I think that's a good spot for them.
Yeah, and I still owe Ian Happ, man. He bailed me out the other day with the double dong.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be in the cleanup hole today, batting against Abbott. You know he's going to be in my lineup. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, at 110, Kansas City Royals, Minnesota Twins. It is beautiful in Minnesota. 78, a little warm, but very nice. No wind to speak of. 8 is the Vegas total. 3.32 implied for KC. 4.68 for the Twinkies. Daniel Lynch, the lefty, 6K, faces off against Tyler Mahle at 8.7K for the Twins. Definitely think Mahle's a nice play for that early slate. We move to 307. We've got the Baltimore Orioles, Toronto Blue Jays. It is in the, I think the Rogers Center is going to be open again. It was open the other day, yesterday, and I'm going to count it as open today. The weather's nice, 70s, and usually a few more runs when that dome is open. It is a 9 total in Vegas. 3.92 implied for the O's, 5.08 for the Jays, so an over 5, definitely a circle around them. Austin Voth, 6.4K for Baltimore, and 7.4K for Ross Stripling and the Blue Jays. And man, what a great series this has been. Very intense and very important series.
Definitely.
407, we have Seattle at LA Angels. It is 86 degrees, warm in LA today. Wind blowing out to dead center at 10 miles an hour. So a little worrisome for the pitchers in that one. 8.5 is the Vegas total. 4.95 implied for the Mariners and 3.55 for the Angels. George Kirby, 8.5K, takes the hill for Seattle. Touki Toussaint, 7.2K for the Angels. So hard one to figure here. Not sure. I seem to not get Seattle straight very often, whether they're on or off. They're a tough team to predict, but they do win.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
Last game for the early slate, Crash. It's the Padres at the Marlins, a 4:10 game in Miami in the Dome. Only 7, low total here. 3.85 implied for the Padres, 3.15 for the Marlins. Mike Clevenger, 7.9K versus Pablo Lopez, 8.9K. So a lot of respect for Lopez with that sub 4 implied for the Padres.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the early slate. Now, meat and potatoes, our 9-game main slate that'll complete the 15 on this wonderful Wednesday, hump day, the 17th of August. Tampa Bay, New York Yankees. Everybody fired up for that one. It is 73 degrees in New York, but there is a 27% chance of showers at the beginning of the game. So maybe a delay, something we'll watch and we'll definitely update in Discord. We'll follow the radar there because it is an important game on the slate. Yankees very slumped lately. They've lost 10 of their last 12, Crash.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
They definitely need Stanton back. I think that'd give them a big help. I'm not sure when he's due back, but not right now. So hopefully they get him back sooner than later. But if it doesn't rain, beautiful night, 73 degrees, no wind to speak of in New York. 8's the Vegas total, 3.70 implied for Tampa, 4.30 for the New York Yankees. Corey Kluber, the veteran, 8.8K for the Rays. Domingo Germán, 6.5K for the Yankees. So very interesting game there. Look forward to seeing confirmation on those lineups and see how that weather pans out.
Mm-hmm.
Also at 7:05, we have Boston at Pittsburgh. 75 degrees, beautiful day in Pittsburgh. But as the night comes around, there is a chance of showers. 27% chance at first pitch. So again, I don't think this one is much to concern about as some of the other ones, but we will keep an eye on it. I have it as complete go as of right now. It's an 8 total in Vegas, 4.34 implied for Boston, 3.66 for the Buccos. Rich Hill, the lefty, 6.1K. And the youngster Roansy Contreras, who I was on earlier in the year, he's 7.8K for the Pirates. 7:10, Crash. We've got the Tigers and Guardians in Cleveland. Again, beautiful night, 76 degrees, slight breeze blowing in from center. Should be good weather throughout. If there's a passing shower, nothing that's going to bother the game whatsoever. 7.5, low total in Vegas. A sub 3 for Detroit because they stink against righties, 2.98 implied for them, and pretty healthy 4.52 for the Guardians. Disco Daniel Norris, lefty, 5.1K against Cal Quantrill, the righty at 7K for Cleveland. 7:20 down in Atlanta, the series that everybody's been paying a lot of attention to. A lot of people getting rostered pitchers and hitters throughout this series. Another great game coming today at 7:20. Mets at Atlanta, 7.5 is that total. Again, we've got a chance of rain, pop-up storm, so it's something we have to watch right down to lock. 81 warm degrees in Atlanta, so one of the hotter spots on the slate, and no wind to speak of there. 7.5's that total. 4.09 implied for the Mets, 3.41 for the Braves. We have the Mad Max himself, Max Scherzer, 11.1K, and Jake Odorizzi at 8K flat. We go to St. Louis, 7:45. Colorado Rockies at the St. Louis Cardinals, 80 warm degrees, no wind to speak of in St. Louis. Only a 7.5 total, even with that warm weather in St. Louis. Only a 3.11 implied for Colorado, 4.39 for the Cardinals. It is Germán Marquez at 6.7K against Jordan Montgomery, the lefty that the Cards picked up from the Yankees at the trade deadline. He's sub 7K again at 6.9K.
Yeah.
Interesting game there.
Did you Did you see how that game ended last night?
The Rockies Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell the
Bases
listeners.
loaded, hit by pitch to
Yep.
Tyler O'Neill to win the game. That was crazy. Yeah. Obviously, I was cheering for the Rockies, but yeah. That was interesting.
That definitely hurts, no question. I know Lanny was probably happy to give you the business.
Right. But we got our walk off ourselves, so I'll take
You
it.
did. Yep. Yeah, that's a great race. That's going to go down to the wire, I think.
It is.
All right, 8:05, Oakland A's at the Texas Rangers, still over 100 down in Arlington. That roof's going to be closed. 8.5's the total there. Oakland 3.77 implied, Rangers 4.73. Couple of shaky pitchers here, if you ask me. Adam Aller 5.7K and Cole Reagan's lefty 5.4K. Not really strong pitching there, but do you trust those offenses is the question.
Yeah, that's tough.
How about 8-10 Houston Astros and Chicago White Sox? Also an intense series. It's been fun watching that one. The crowd's been really raucous in Chicago. I'm glad they have something to root for there with the White Sox making a run.
Right.
75 degrees, perfect night for baseball. Dry, 9-mile-an-hour wind, slightly blowing in from left, but nothing that should affect anything in this game. 8 is the over-under, 4.34 implied for Houston, 3.66 for the White Sox. Pretty expensive. Framber Valdez, the lefty, at 10.3K against Michael Kopech, 7.3K, who we know has some upside and ceiling as well. So good matchup there.
Yeah, he was excellent in his last start. I think we were fading him, and he was lights out. So.
Yeah, he was. I have him as that gut punch mark where we faded him and he kicked butt. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but against Houston, we'll see. It's going to be a little bit tougher chore here.
True. Yeah.
Then a game that you may have some interest in at 8-10 in the Dome there. It's the Dodgers and Brewers. 8 is the total. 4.51 implied for the Dodgers. 3.49 for the Brewers. Did I say 4.51 or 5.41? I might have done a dyslexic thing there. It's 4.51 for the Dodgers, 3.49 for the Brewers. Tony Gopher Ball Gonsolin. This is what you've been waiting for, Crash.
Yeah.
He's 10K against your Brewers. And then Eric Lauer, the lefty, 9.4K. Not the guy that he's the guy you've been fading for your Brewers. So you got a chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah. I'm not fading him this time, but
okay.
I'm not saying I'm going to have him in my lineups, but I'm not,
So you heard it here first. Crash's lock washer today, Eric Lauer. No, I'm just kidding.
No. He has had pretty good numbers, surprisingly good numbers, honestly, against the Dodgers, if you look at it. He's averaged right around 40 Fanduel points per game against them. So, I mean, pretty strong.
You would take that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
No doubt. And then the last game, Crash, sits all by itself. So it's a late night solo game. It's an hour and 35 minutes later than any other game. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Francisco Giants. A cool 59. So we're into the 50s in San Fran. I love that, man. I love to have that cold temperature, a pitcher that I like, a late game that I can relax and watch. I'm fired up for Mr. Rodon tonight. 59 degrees, little breeze blowing around there. Vegas knows 7.5's the total. Sub 3 implied for the D-backs, 2.97. Giants a respectable 4.53 implied on their side. The veteran Zach Davies, 6.4K, takes the hill for the D-backs. And the aforementioned Carlos Rodon, the lefty, at 10.8K. That's it, man. That's everything right there.
All 15, huh?
What's that?
Sorry, I said that's all 15, huh?
That's all 15, my man. That is it. Yeah. We got them all. So we're going to be playing. We're supplying slates for our members today of all-day slates with all 15. We've got early only with 3 games, with 6 games, and then, of course, the all slate at the main for 9 games. So we've got you covered here. It's not too late. Dive in if you want to try. This is a great day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Get all our golf picks. You got our NFL tomorrow night. $10. Give us a shot. Cheaper than a value meal. If you size up the fries, you're going to spend that $10. So,
yeah.
And I know that, and I'm not going there because fries are bad for you. All right, Crash. Are you ready to break down? Well, first of all, let's do this real quickly. Let me check. Let me see. We've got some new folks and a ton of talking in the chat. I love this, man. So let's say hello to Fear Money Entertainment LLC. Let's go. We got an LLC in here, Crash.
Oh, nice.
I love that. Very, very nice. Early game love, only 3 game slate on Fanduel. Need a little game Crash. There you go, Crash. Somebody's talking out to you, I think.
Yeah, I told him I like the Phillies and the Cubs in that early slate.
Very nice. Ryan Pierce, what's up with you, mofo? I guess is what he's saying. Then we got, let's see. We know Collins in there. The Joey Gallo curse. Okay, I got you there. Who else? King of Smack. What a perfect name. I love that, man. I love that. King of Smack, welcome to the party. Yeah, we got everybody in there a little bit chatting. So appreciate everybody jumping in. Any comments or questions? Ryan Pierce, what do you say, man? So keep putting any questions in there. We will get to them as we go. So let's do this because we're at 11:23. We know that we have that early lock at 12:30. Before we go in to our major picks for the main slate, let's just chat briefly about the early slate. I know I'm throwing you a curveball here. So a couple of things. Let's just look at that slate briefly and talk about a few spots that you can go. Is there anything that sticks out to you with those afternoon games, Crash?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I like the Phillies. I know they don't have Harper, Schwarber in their lineup, obviously, but they got some righties that can hit Lodolo, I think. Yep. And I also like the Cubs against Corey Abbott. He's really been struggling. I think we talked about he allowed 7 runs in his last start. So yep. I could definitely see the Cubs getting to him. My top play would probably be Ian Happ. So,
oh, I love him. Mm-hmm. I'm with you on the Cubs. I think Abbott's really not good. And it seems like the Cubs, since they've really done the reset, they're not re-signing some of their veterans. They've already announced that stuff, and they've really turned it over to the youngsters. And they're definitely, coming up and being big. So yeah, Fanduel Reyes is the only veteran that's in there. But if you look at the rest of the guys, you've got some decent bats. I think, like you said, the righties really do better in this lineup for the Cubs recently. And even though that Abbott's a righty, if you look at his splits, he's just getting pounded by both sides of the plate. So, Contreras and Happ, Suzuki, Reyes, Horner. I mean, there's a lot of guys you can go to on the Cubs lineup. So that's one spot.
Contreras isn't in the lineup today. They have Yan Gomes as their
catcher. Okay. All right. Let me refresh here because we do have some of those lineups up. Okay. Thank you. You're right. Gomes batting 8. So the Horner, Suzuki, Happ, 2, 3, 4. Great place to go. No question about it.
Interesting leadoff, McKinstry. That's interesting. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, we'll see how he does. Not a ton of pop though, does he?
No, not really.
No, not a spot I'd go for sure.
More of a utility guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of like, I've been on Tyler Mahle. I really like that pickup for the Twins, but I'm a little nervous about that. Kansas City lineup has been scoring runs. If you haven't noticed Vinny Pasquantino, good Lord, he was player of the week last week. He's hitting everything out of the ballpark. So I'm a little afraid of Mahle today. I would think he'd be a pretty popular guy on these early slates, but don't underestimate these youngsters, man. With Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, and a couple of other good rookies, Rooker, Massey, they're letting their young guys play too. Nate Eaton, who's up now. And then Sal Perez, he's the kind of guy that when he gets hot, he can carry a team for a week for sure. So I would say be a little careful about Molly. Do you like Molly today?
A little bit, but as you mentioned, the Royals have been playing well. They stopped the Dodgers winning streak. They have really been playing well. My wife and I have talked about this several times with her being a Royals fan. They're a completely different team when they have Salvador Perez in their lineup.
Yeah,
he's just
they
the
are.
emotional leader, and he carries that team. So
yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree. I want to also mention the Baltimore-Toronto game. I don't really respect Voth or Stripling, and I really do respect both of these teams hitting. And with the roof open there, I think there's going to be runs. I think both sides are stackable here. I mean, first of all, Adley Rutschman from the left side. I mean, if you haven't watched this kid yet, he's a superstar to be. You're going to see this is the kind of guy that's going to be in 10 All-Star games. I'm just telling you right now. Adley Rutschman from the left side, he has incredible power. He's a switch hitting catcher, and he's going to go down with some of the great switch hitting catchers that have been in the game. So I know it sounds like crazy talk, but I'm telling you that he's just terrific. And I like him in this matchup today for sure. And you can easily stack Mullins, Rutschman, Santander, Mountcastle, all guys that can hit. If you want to go real cheap, this Terrin Vavra, he's batting fifth, a lefty. He's another guy that can hit it. They've dropped Austin Hayes all the way down to sixth. And then, of course, Odor, when he bats, against a righty, he can sneak some hits in there. So stack the O's on that early slate would be my advice. And don't be afraid to come back with guys from the other side on Toronto. Here's my concern, though, Crash, and this is the question I had for you. Are these guys just too expensive from Toronto? Because now we got Vlad over 6, and then you got Chapman, who's now at about 5. Teoscar's over 5, Bichette's over 5, Springer's over 5. I mean, I don't know how much you can afford to stack them.
I think they'll probably be chalky, don't you?
I think they will, but again, it's it really hog ties you with the rest of your lineup. I mean, if you're going to spend 5-3, 6-1, 5-2, 5-1, 4-9, I mean, that's your meat of the order stack there. You're going to have to go cheap pretty much everywhere else. So I'm not, really advocating a full Blue Jay stack, although it will be chalky. I think maybe just grab 2 guys and still just be able to build around them.
Yeah, there's no lefties in their lineup, so you can't grab a low-priced Biggio or something like that. So or Tapia,
right?
Yeah, that's tough.
It is tough.
Merrifield's price is usually pretty cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't done anything since he's been there, and I'm just disappointed with the way he's looked. I mean, he's still over 4K though, and probably batting like 8th.
Yeah, he is batting 8th.
Yeah, so
but I mean, Chapman's been batting 7th and killing it. So
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean can't go to him.
Blue Jays have a hell of a hitting lineup. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Kind of like Baltimore here,
Oh, I do too.
Lineup,
I love their lineup. I've been sort of going nuts for the O's and Mets. I keep talking about it on every podcast. I mean, those 2 teams just seem to be playing like it's playoff baseball right now. And, that's enjoyable to watch. So that's going to be a key game for me for the early slate, Crash.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you a guy that I really like today, and you're going to think I've lost my noodle. I think Pablo Lopez, who's not been totally great lately, and the Padres are terrifying, with all those guys in there, Soto, Machado, and Bell. Geez.
They should be. They haven't really been.
They haven't been. No. That's the thing, is they have been flat as a pancake. And I think that news of losing their leader, really, their mental leader for 80 games, I think that's just taken all the wind out of their sails.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't even playing great before that was announced, but
that's true.
That definitely didn't help. And they're playing in a one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks in baseball in Miami. So
I agree.
I can definitely see that.
I like Pablo. I really do. He's one of my favorite pitchers on that early slate. So,
Yeah.
all right, my friend, let's get into the main slate. I hope that helps everybody that's playing the early stuff. Let me check real quick and see. Jays are expensive, no question about it. Machado has been hot, but they're going to start pitching around him unless somebody else starts hitting, because really nobody else is stepping up. That's for sure. Let's see. Do you have interest in Minnesota against Lynch? Yeah. I think Minnesota mini stack 2 or 3 guys. I like that game. Like I say, I think that you can get some guys in there. No question. Big Bino's in here. Thank you. And doesn't look like we have Coach Mom in here today, so you can give a little language out there. I don't see her in there. Wow, that's bad when your own mom doesn't tune in. Good Lord, Crash, what are we gonna do?
You heard I was gonna be back on the show, and she said I'm out.
She's out, man. She did not like my late slate last night. She said, heck with that, I'm taking a day off. So tough. She's the toughest critic, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Lynch, obviously, or interestingly enough, his last start was against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he threw 5 scoreless innings. So
I know. That's because I nicknamed him Disco Daniel Lynch for that game.
Yeah,
and
that's
so he came out doing the hustle.
Yeah. That's a little concerning, though, if he can hold the Dodgers in check like that. But as I mentioned in chat, they have struggled against lefties a little bit. Looks like Carlos Correa has pretty good BVP against him. So that's somebody you can keep an eye on for sure. I know we were on him yesterday, or you guys were on him yesterday. But
yeah, I think Lynch backs up a little bit today. Blind squirrel finds it not every once in a while. It's that simple. So we'll see. If he does it again, I won't call him Disco Dan anymore. He'll danced his way out of that, but I'm going against him.
Yep.
All right. No Rutschman today? Are you serious? Let me see here.
No, I think he's in the lineup. I thought I saw the name.
Colin said Orioles just dropped their lineup and he's not in there, and that's disheartening because he was like one of my core plays. Are we getting
expected lineup? Yeah, I don't have. Let me see something.
Maybe, a lot of times catchers will get a day game off, so it could be. But won't he DH?
You would think. Let me see.
I'll see if there's any update on that.
Nope. Chirinos and the DH is Santander, so they don't have Rutschman in their lineup.
Well, that's disheartening. Time to reset the deck there because that changes some things for me. Even on my stack that I was going to use with Baltimore, I may shift back over to Toronto a little bit more. So
so it's Mullins, Santander, Mountcastle, Hayes, Urias, McKenna, Odor, Mateo, and Chirinos. That's their lineup.
Yeah, that's a step back from their normal lineup for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that news, Colin. That's the kind of stuff we get live here. We got to adjust to and go from there. So we'll make some adjustments. All right. Here we go for the main slate. 9 games. We're going to go through all of our stuff. So it's Wednesday, August the 17th. We got a 9-game main slate on everything, Fanduel and DraftKings and Yahoo. Crash, who are your pay up value and fantasy pitchers for this hump day, Wednesday, August 17th?
My pay-up pitcher is Max Scherzer, 11-5 on FanDuel, 11-1 on DraftKings. No surprise here.
Never heard of him.
Going up against Atlanta. He faced them a couple weeks ago. In that game, he pitched 7 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts for 64 fantasy points.
Is that all?
Yeah, that was it. And he also faced them in July. That game was in Atlanta. And he pitched 7 innings, allowed 1 run, and had 9 strikeouts for 55 fantasy points. So he's really done well against Atlanta. He scored 40+ in 7 of his last 8 starts. So, yeah, I'm not fading Max Scherzer today, that's for sure.
I don't blame you.
My value pitcher is going to be Jordan Montgomery at 6,900 on DraftKings. That feels like a misprice to me.
Yeah.
Against Colorado, who, yes, they're good against lefties. I think they have the best batting average, but they've also scored the second fewest runs per game on the road. So I think it's a good matchup for him. His last game was against my Brewers. He pitched 6 shutout innings with 8 strikeouts for 52 fantasy points. So I do like Montgomery against the Rockies. My fade pitcher is going to be Framber Valdez. He's 10-6 on Fanduel, 10-3 on DraftKings. Going up against the White Sox, they have the 5th lowest strikeout rate. And in 4 career starts against them, he's only averaged 28.25 Fanduel points per game. So I'm going to fade Framber Valdez.
It makes perfect sense. All right. I'm going with strategy. For me, I'm all over the place, and it's not because I have a specific strategy. Is what we do here at Coach Talk is we look at every slate individually. We look at every matchup. We look at the weather. We look at the BVP. We look at recency. You name it, we're looking at it. We're dumping it all into all of our information, projections, optimize. We're taking a look at through everything. So there will be days for those members that are in here all the time with us and listeners where we're going to stack up tons of hitting and go cheaper on the pitching. We're going to have days where what the norm is an SP1 and an SP2, you're going to buy up and that's why we do buy up value fade, because usually there's an SP1 and a value SP2. And that seems to be the best combination for hitting big, because you can still get some big bats and not give up on the pitching. And then there are some days like today where I just feel like you have to, I don't see how I can go to a cash game and not want to get 100 points to start off with my 2 guys. And you know who they are, Scherzer and Rodon. Here's the reason. There are so many cheap hitters right now. There's some bottom price $2,000, $2,200 pitch hitters that are batting in the middle of their lineups. And there's some good ones, some young ones. I don't think the sites have done a good job updating the pricing on some of these young players that have now taken a big role. So what I want to do is I want to come in there, punch people right in the mouth with Scherzer to start out, finish up strong with Rodon on the other side. They're just too damn good. And yes, they're expensive. Rodon's 10-8, 10-7, and 49. Not bad, though. That's decent for me. And in that 59-degree weather against a team that I don't respect, I'll take them all day long. Yeah. And then, of course, Scherzer. You said everything you need to say about Scherzer. He's going for the Cy Young. He's going for everything. He's a gamer. It's an important game, so he's going to be even more pumped up. A lot of intensity in this series. I'm just going to those 2 guys, and here's the thing. It's not like you have to say here, Crash, okay, we've got a Coors game that we can't skip. Right. We have a Wrigley Win game that we can't skip. We have 2 horrendous pitchers in Houston, for example, or something with all a bunch of big bats and a home run park that we can't skip. There's none of that today. There's a lot of decent spots for hitting, but nothing that you can't get away from and still make your lineup work. So I am all about Scherzer and Rodon today. Lock plays, cash, single entry, GPP. I'm going with the 2 studs on the slate, and I can still make it work. I've already done some lineups on all sites. It doesn't get real comfortable on your last few plays, but you can make it work. So that's where I'm going. Since I didn't do a value pitcher, I'm going to give you 2 fade pitchers. And please don't take this personally, Crash, because I could be wrong more than I'm right. And a lot of times when we disagree, you're spot on. I think Jordan Montgomery, I'll use my analogy that I use every once in a while when I really feel it's a big one. When the Roadrunner leaves the big giant sucker lollipop on the road, and then here comes the wolf. He grabs the sucker, and then here comes the rock and drops and crushes him. That's what I think Jordan Montgomery owners are going to be tonight. It's a sucker play. The Yankees trade him for a reason. He was fired up to pitch against the Yankees. How would you not be when a team's given up on you and traded you? And he pitched well. Pitched well in his last game, but he pitched over 100 pitches. He's not a deep guy to go into games. I don't like him in this matchup. He is underpriced on DraftKings at 6,900. So I think people are going to say I can't pass him up. 6,900 is too cheap. I'll put him in there with either Scherzer or Rodon and be down the road. You know what? when he gives up 5 earned runs or whatever the case may be, people are going to regret that move, in my opinion. And then he's still expensive on Fanduel at 8,700 and 36 cheap on Yahoo. So he's going to get a lot of ownership, no doubt about it. I see some major regression here, and I'm hoping for all those lineups that I'm battling, especially in cash, where I have Rodon and Scherzer and get 110 points, and they have either Rodon and Scherzer with Montgomery, and they get 55 points. Good luck making up that 60, 65 points against me. So I don't mean to sound rowdy or overconfident or cocky. I just believe in that. And that's the route that I'm taking today. Oversell, Crash?
No, that makes sense. I think that makes sense. So who is your other fade?
You really want to know?
Eric Lauer.
Eric Lauer. I just, righties against or lefties against the Dodgers, not a great combination. The Dodgers are 6th in the league in home runs, 9th in batting average against lefties. They have a stacked group of righties, with Betts and company. And I know Lauer's pitched well against them, but Milwaukee, I don't know what's wrong with them, Crash. They look like shit, man. They just, ever since they traded their closer, they just seem to have shut down. I mean, what's the deal?
I mean, they've struggled against lefties all year. So if you're watching them against the lefty, they definitely are not good. They've been all right against righties. They're against Gonsolin. They won last night against Pepio, which I don't think Pepio is that great of a pitcher.
No.
But, so if you look at their games, they've been winning against righties and losing against lefties. So that's something to consider.
I think they'll score runs today. I just don't know if they can hold the Dodgers down. And certainly, when they took Hader out of that bullpen, it scrambled around. I don't think that's settled yet. It hasn't looked good. Yeah. So, I mean, I like the over in this game. I do think your Brewers will score, but I just think Lauer's a good fade. He's too expensive. 9,400 on DraftKings, 9,700 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I can't argue against the Dodgers.
Yeah, just too much. So he's my secondary fade.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. I know I'm really windy today, so it's 11:43. We got to keep this train moving. Crash, what do you have for BVP and HR today?
My BVP call is Francisco Lindor. He's 3,600 on FanDuel, 6,000 on DraftKings, so he's very pricey over there.
Yeah.
But he's hit 393 against Odorizzi, 11 hits and 28 at bats with 5 singles, 4 doubles, and 2 home runs. So good numbers against Odorizzi. I like Lindor today. My home run call is Paul Goldschmidt. As they mentioned in the chat, he's been killing Marquez. 15 hits and 37 at bats, including 4 home runs and 21 of 29 home runs against right-handed pitchers this year. So Goldschmidt is my home run call.
Goldie's tough, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
My BVP call, and here's the thing, full disclosure, with buying up for the 2 pitchers, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get my BVP or HR guy in my lineup today. So that's gut-wrenching, but I do like these 2 guys. BVP, Trey Turner. I think that, against Eric Lauer, small sample size, he's batting 500, 3 extra base hits, 2 homers, 1,700 OPS, 1,200 slugging, 500 OBP and average. So Trey Turner, always a great play. I really like him against Lauer today. And then my HR call is your BVP call, Francisco Lindor. He's been playing great. Love him against Odorizzi here. 1183 OPS, 750 slugging, 433 OBP, 393 average. So I love Lindor today. I love Trey Turner, but more than likely they're going to be on the outside looking in unless I play one lineup without one of those big pitchers. But those are the 2 guys I like.
Yep, I like it.
Stacks. What do you have, Stacks?
I have the Mets. I like them against Odorizzi. As we mentioned, we like Lindor. I like the Mets in general. They were shut out yesterday, so I think they bounced back today behind Scherzer. And then I like Cleveland against Daniel Norris. He's really struggled. And then I like San Francisco against Zach Davies. So those are my 3 stacks on this slate. It's a different slate. There's not clear and obvious stack, in my opinion.
Exactly, and that's my point of contention with why you need to buy up for both pitchers, because there's no stack that just dives off the page to me. I
Yeah.
have two of the three stacks I like are the same as yours. I like Cleveland and the Mets. I think
Mhm.
they're not like just smash in five guys from these teams, but
Right.
little mini 2-3 stacks from Cleveland and the Mets. And my third team is the Dodgers. I just think they're going to handle Lauer tonight.
Mhm.
And when they hit in bunches. And
Yeah,
so
that's true.
those are the three guys that I'm looking at there. Real quickly, let's touch base here. A lot of expensive bats. Yes. A lot of no real questions. Lots of great chat and comments there. I will say, if you're watching right now on YouTube, quick thumbs up. That's important to us. Hit the subscribe button and the little alert in the upper corner. That lets you know when any of our podcasts post. And we're going live all the time now. So you want to be on there so you can get in here live chat with some of the other members and some of the other listeners and get that down pat. Also, if you listen on any of our audio landing spots, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, please take a second, give us a 5-star and a comment. That combination lets the Mr. Colin Chachoff, who's in here with us today, he'll go in there at the end of each month. So you've got literally 2 weeks from today till the end of the month. And then somebody will win a random drawing for 1 month free of Coach Talk. Also, if you want to catch us on Twitter, all kinds of info going up there all the time. I'm at Joe Sarvati, as you can see right below this ugly mug of mine. And then at JP Davis 1982, as you can see below the bearded one right there. All right. PrizePicks, my friend. What do you have today?
Yeah, I am just looking at something real quick here because
Okay, I'll throw mine out there first.
have some new plays on the board. I want to make sure I get something good for our viewers. So.
Okay, I'll give mine and then you take a gander there. I'm going with Rodon over 42.5 fantasy score, 59 degrees against a team that doesn't hit well. I think Rodon's just in a catbird seat spot here. I've got him at 47 and it's coming in at 42.5. I just think he has a real statement game here. Love Rodon over 42.5 fantasy score. And as I mentioned, I really like Trey Turner today, and his number's super low, and he's got great BVP, as I mentioned. 7.5 is all it is today on PrizePicks. So I'm going to take over Trey Turner 7.5 for my second PrizePicks play of the day.
Okay. And I am going to take the over on pitching outs for Max Scherzer at 18.5. He's had 21 in each of his starts against them this year, against the Braves.
Good play.
And I am going to go with Goldschmidt over 8.5 hitter fantasy score.
Very nice. I like it. All right. I know you're fading a bit. I can see you swallowing hard. You're gutting it out. Crash is not feeling good today, but I appreciate you jumping on here with me, Crash. So we're down to the end, and then you can get your plays in and take a break. And I hope you feel better, buddy.
I hope so too. Thank you.
All right, the Boom Fantasy, and if you haven't heard, 2 weeks they launch. We're exclusive partners of them in DFS. They're all over the place here soon. As soon as they launch, we're going to have all kinds of TikToks up and Twitters, you name it. So really keep an eye out for Boom Fantasy. We'll have some giveaways, some free plays, and Boom Fantasy is going to be phenomenal. You're going to be able to play everything you want on there. All kinds of prop plays, parlays, you name it, you can play it on Boom Fantasy. All right, 2 Boom Fantasy plays of the day. Crash, what do you have today for your 2 wagers?
I like the White Sox at plus 145.
Nice.
I know we've been talking about the White Sox today, and I do like them. I think they've won the first 2 games in this series, and I don't think they're going to sweep the Astros, but I do think they're going to win today. So they'll take 3 out of 4 is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And then I like, where is it?
No pressure. Let me give you one of mine, and you're looking. Mine is I've been hitting these lately. I know they're dangerous. So I say with warning, when you play home team run lines, and I say this every time because it is a disclosure because you don't get the ninth inning, but it's so great on the odds, man. I like San Francisco on the run line -1.5 runs at home, and it's only -102. It's better than playing a team on, flat on the money line -110. So San Francisco -1.5 runs. I think they win this game like 6-0, and I like them -102 today in that game, late game.
I like that. The other play I'll take is Tampa Bay +135.
Okay. Interesting selection. So you're dogs today. I like it.
Yeah.
Last time I know you hit your dog plays because you put the big dog, barking dog there in Discord. So
right.
Jump on those again. I'm going to go St. Louis, lay the money, -197. I just think they're the better team here by a mile. I think they coast home in this one. And so I will take the St. Louis Cardinals. Anything else, Crash?
Nope. That's it for me.
All right. A couple of Advil, take a nap. You're going to be good as new for tomorrow. You're with me tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Okay. Outstanding. All right. No other questions. I see a couple of people chirping in. Voth over 4 strikeouts. That's an interesting one. That could be a decent play. Not really just a lot of comments. So great stuff, man. Appreciate everybody being in there. We have a nice group in there today. We're back every day, generally at 11 a.m. So you can catch us live. And again, on the way out, if you haven't done it already, that thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button, maybe a little comment, all that stuff helps us move up the algorithm on YouTube. So we really appreciate you. Enjoy about 14 and a half hours of baseball today, starting at 12:30 and ending probably at like 1:30 or 2. So it's going to be a lot of baseball, a lot of good slates, and we're providing all of them for our members here at Coach Talk. So check us out, dfscoachtalk.com, and our memberships are right on there. All right. Thank you, Crash. Great job. It is about 37 minutes until lock for the earliest lineup. So we're going to be jumping on those lineups right now for our members so you can jump back into Discord. Thanks again. Have a wonderful Wednesday, and we'll be back again tomorrow when we look to crush it in MLB, DFS, PrizePicks, and Boom Fantasy.